So today, guys, today is all about taking a deep dive into making and creating a six-figure boom for you and your family in 2023. And if you guys have not noticed, the business landscape is always changing. So, in order to succeed, I think you're going to see now and into the future, three categories of investors. And that's the very first category is those people that attempt to get started, but they don't find the right vehicle. They don't find the right strategy. They don't have the right support. They don't have the right infrastructure. And they're not going to be successful. Yeah. And then there's this second category of investors, and that is people that are already doing a few deals here and there, but they don't have anything that is predictable, that is consistent. And they really haven't mastered the fundamentals, to be frank. They haven't mastered the fundamentals of county selection, of lead generation, of negotiating, of closing deals, of tracking what matters, of basically running this business like a true CEO would run it in order to have the freedom of a CEO, the entrepreneurial freedom that comes with it.
Which is what we talked about yesterday.
Exactly.
And how to design it, how that ultimately you truly you don't become the land hustler, which nobody wants to become a land hustler. You want to become the owner of a land investing company that gets to do the deals. And like John now operates 2 or 3 hours a day and makes $500,000. Like Aaron does an hour a day and similarly does around probably $500,000 a year. Or the guests that we talked about, like like Lori and Jeanette, and that are now traveling the world, getting their spouses free from work.
Doing it on their own terms.
And doing it on their own terms. Exactly. Go ahead, Sophia.
Yeah. So what you're going to notice is that if you haven't mastered the fundamentals.
I call you Sophia right now. Our daughter. Go ahead, Michelle. Yes.
What you'll notice is that when you don't master the fundamentals, you're going to have little to no results. And it pains me because at the end of the day, what's going to happen is that's going to demotivate you, because what inspires is having consistent deals, basic closing, and consistent cash injections coming into your bank account. I mean, there's no better inspiration and motivation than that. And what's going to happen is that you're going to let this go, and you're going to fail, and you're going to go after some other shiny penny, and you're going to give in to your entrepreneurial ADD. And but that's not you guys. You guys are already seeing, having so much clarity, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And I have been inside of the homework post, and I am just so honored and so filled with gratitude to see you guys really seeing that clarity and seeing how this could be the one thing that can finally turn the corner for you and your family. So guys, you guys are clearly not it. You guys belong to the top 1%, to the people that are actually going to, capture the bigger breakthroughs, the bigger opportunities, and that are going to have, the opportunity to at some point in the future, be like some of the guests that you have seen and come and tell your story. And I couldn't be more happy to see you succeed and celebrate you and have you on the other side, maybe 6 months down the road, coming and telling your story.
And you might have made already a first 100 grand or something like that, right? So that's, who would like to make 100 grand in the first 6 months? Give me a heck yes, guys. Give me a heck yes right now. Let's start this with energy and so on. Go ahead, Michelle.
So yeah, guys. So with that, let's get started. We're here as the Harvard of land flipping, as the #1 incubator of land flipping businesses in the country, to help you really, build, grow, and scale your business. That cannot happen without sales and marketing your properties. That's what we're discussing today. So if you don't have your workbook, please go ahead and pull that, baby out. This is a $1 million asset.
I want to before we jump into the session, I want to say a couple of things.
Sure.
And that is like, as Michelle said, like really this land profit masterclass is and land investing is really the only business growth program you'll ever need in your life, right? Because we are never going to stop evolving, right? We're constantly adding new features and new pieces to our programs and how we teach this and how we do this. And the nice part is that with all the things we add and change to it, on the fundamental level, land flipping today works the exact same way that it did back in 2002 when Michelle and I started.
Yeah,
that's one of the beauties of it, because if you look out there, people, I know so many people in the industry that every 2 years, whatever they teach stops working. And when it stops working, they have to reinvent themselves. The same with wholesalers. I talked to a very well-known wholesaler yesterday. Actually, was interviewed on his podcast in the afternoon, and he basically, we talked about, like, right now, about a third to half of all the wholesalers out there, their business, the house wholesalers I'm talking about, the house wholesalers, their business is dead in the water because they learned they became a one-trick pony. They only learned how to get these deals, these houses, and sell them to these these e-buyers, these big venture capital funds that stopped buying in many markets. And now they've never learned how to build a buyer's list. They never learned how to sell it to the neighbors, which we talked about yesterday. They never learned how to list them on different websites, how to sell them to an end buyer. They never learned all the things that you learn with us. As a result, they're dead in the water. And the educators that only did like 7 deals and then started teaching it, right? Those guys only know one thing, and they're dead in the water. So this is every time that happens when there's a slight correction in the market. But you know what? When we started land flipping, we did it from 2002 to 2008. Then the market changed, and guess what?
It kept
All
on.
we changed was where we sell the properties, and we did a little bit more seller financing than cash deals. But in essence, our business did not miss a beat. We continued selling hundreds of properties a year, and that has continued all the way to the bottom, then all the way up. And right now, the market is on fire for us, and it continues to be on fire. So you are at the right place, because obviously technologies and things around that and little execution pieces are changing, but the fundamentals of how this works will not change, have not changed. So what you're learning here is a true business skill, a strategy that you can use from now on for the rest of your life. And that is important, because let's say you want to add this as a retirement game, right? You're close to retirement and you haven't saved enough money for retirement. Guess what? You learn this one time right now. You put some urgency to it. You make it happen right now. Within the next 6 months, you can make you can have 100K already in your bank account, right? And as a result, now you can retire. And guess what? Now you don't even need to touch your savings. This business can actually pay for retirement, pay for your travel budget, et cetera, et cetera. You can use the do deals in your 401k and your IRA and boost those things in anticipation of retirement, and et cetera, et cetera. So who is excited about that, guys? Give me a heck yes. And with that said, guys, let's get going. Let's start here in this, let's start in the session. And today is all about selling. So the pieces that we want to talk about selling is, number one is the sales power levers to turbocharge your business is the headline of the session. And question number one is, what are the 6 power levers to selling properties quickly and turbocharging your profits? Now, Michelle, what's the first one?
Number one is having a pre-marketing plan. And again, this is having the end in mind and already having inbuilt strategies as far as price drops in case the property doesn't move quickly within the first, week and so on and so forth. Yeah. And having already, okay, if I'm having it in 5 or 6 different channels and it's not working, I need to immediately add 4 more channels in order to be able to, sell this piece of land.
And we talked about that with Jana yesterday, and that also allows you over time. It's one of these scaling kind of keys, power levers, because if you create a plan that says, we're going to start, this property is worth $50,000. You have it under contract for 10. Let's start it at $39,900, which is a little bit higher than a true bargain on the market, right? Yeah. But then you set a goal that you set a step down plan and said, like, every 2 weeks, if it doesn't sell, you drop the price by $5,000. Now you can actually give that to a virtual assistant and have them execute it. Like, if you see that there's also typically, when we talk to our students, if we see that they're getting a lot of views, but nobody inquires, then the listing sucks, right? Then what they're saying on the listing is not attractive enough. If they're getting a lot of inquiries, but nobody buys the property, then it's the communication that they do with the buyer that needs to be improved. So what they're missing is some training on how to communicate properly with the buyers. If they're not getting any views whatsoever, then the headline and the front picture and the thing just doesn't make it look attractive. And those are kind of things that we're going to cover today. But yes, you have to have that pre-marketing plan in place so that you have a plan. You don't just say like, okay, what do we do now? Because that means you're constantly sucked into the business. And who wants to be sucked into business? Nobody. Who wants to be free from a business? Who wants to say, hey, we got this deal. Let's make a plan. And here's the thing. Statistically, from our student experience and our own experience, once that property price drops below 60% of market value, it just flies off the shelf. But not even there. There's through the pre-marketing plan also means that, let's move on to number 2, that you want to, part of that is also who you're selling it, who you bringing it in front of first.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you definitely want to build, if you have any intention of building that into a real business. Now, let me see by the vote of put in the chat box the word me if you want to build this into a real business. If there's people who want to just do one deal in life, well, that's not a business. And there's people who want to actually make a living off this business, right? Great. So that's obviously, I'm glad to see that everyone here is saying Ayub, Jeff, Joff, 2 Jeffs, Crystal, Sean, Jen,
Seymour,
Tony,
Jen.
Briseda, Russ, Robert, Valerie, and many, many more. Tony, I'll say me. Okay, great. So you want to do that. So one of the most important things that you want to build up that is going to be a killer outlet for properties is a buyer's list. Now, what's a buyer's list, Michelle?
Basically, it's a list of buyers that when you start, you're not going to have, but as you start selling properties, you're going to build slowly, organically, but you can also use paid advertising to immediately boost and create a buyer's list from the get-go very easily.
Yeah, so it's people that basically have inquired about the property. So you put it out there in multiple places where we're going to cover in just about 4 minutes. So stay tuned right now. We're going to cover that in about 4 to 5 or about 10 minutes. We're going to say where you list those properties on. So make sure you have your pencil ready and your workbook. Because when you list it, people are going to say like, hey, is this property still available? Looks like a cool property. Well, what you want to do is every single time that happens, you want to have a process in place that then gets them to give you their name, their email address, their phone number, and then you add that to a system that every time you do a price drop, you can reach back out. Every time you have a new deal in that area, you first reach out to your buyers. Because imagine the following situation. Again, let's take that typical deal, like a $50,000 property, you get under contract for $10,000. You go market it up, you sell it at listed at $30,000, and you got 20 people fighting over that property. Does that happen?
Yeah.
Absolutely, it happens, right? So they
bidding
fight
wars, pretty much.
Bidding wars, yes, they fight over that property, and at the end, let's say they even bid it up. They offer above asking price. It does happen, right? So then let's say you pick one of them and give it and sell the property to them for $35,000. You got under contract for 10, they're buying for 35, you make $25,000. Anyone okay with that? Give me a heck yes. So now what happens is 19 of those people were left without the deal.
Mm-hmm.
So now they are all in your buyer's list because you communicated with them. Guess what? Next time you go right back to that same market. That's a smart idea, right? Mm-hmm. If you have a deal that flies off the shelf, would it make sense to go right back into that same area and find more deals? Yes. So let me give you a hint. Yes, right? So you go back and you get 2 more deals in that area. Do you even have to create a listing for those? Do you even have to put them on different websites? No, all you do is you go right back to those same 20 people, not only 19, all 20. Because you know what? The one that got it, who knows if that's not a multiple buyer? We have people that bought 100 properties from us, right? One guy, his name is Alex. Right? He's a pain in the butt to deal with, but he buys 100 properties, right?
Talking about Alex, this reminds me of a little trick that we've done. And Alex actually has been, really magnetized by it. And that is that in our website, I'll sometimes leave a property that has sold, but where I had quite a bit of interest and quite a bit of leads were generated. I leave it on. And I just put the word sold on it because it's no longer available, of course. But because, they see that I have property in that area, in that particular subdivision, and there's quite a bit of demand for those properties, people just keep inquiring and sending me messages asking, do you have any other properties in this area? Right. So that's a little trick that we've done for years is leave the sold property in our website. And just mark it as sold so that they know that it's been taken, but it shows them, a particular area that might be hot. And if there's people looking for property in that area, they'll definitely contact you as well.
Yeah, and for those who work with us, we actually give you a software that has a built-in website already. So you don't have to worry about how do I set up a website? We're all taking care of that for you already. Yeah. So So again, that's a buyer's list. The buyer's list is people that are interested in buying that property. So over time, that's a killer way. You can literally, I know some of our students that sell 80% of their properties to their buyer's list, but on average, I'd say a third is a really good number that you can say that you sell to your buyer's list, So right there, 1/3, one of the 3 properties will never even make it on the open market. It comes in, you list it, you send it to your buyer's list by an email or so, and boom, they buy it right away. So next thing is you need a CRM. I talked about it. For those who work with us, I asked yesterday for those who are interested in working with us to put the word skip the line in. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. But the CRM, you need a website.
And that's to automate a lot of the things as well, a lot of the processes. This is basically to help you systematize your business and organize your business such that you can really spend the time doing the things that you want to do. You know, that's why you're leaving a 9 to 5. That's why you want freedom, you know, to be able to travel, to be able to have a business that where you're not replacing one job with a second job. Yeah,
exactly right. So again, you need a CRM. A CRM, now we created our own. John is like, which CRM did we use? I'll talk about that later on. But yes, we created our own. We actually have a team of 12 full-time developers that have been developing the software for years. It's an end-to-end CRM. Again, talk about it more. But what it does, any CRM out there, at the very least, something that keeps you organized. For example, you don't want to have just a spreadsheet. And then spreadsheets get corrupted. Spreadsheets get lost. Your computer dies. It's gone. You want to have something that's in the cloud that you can use. And you want to have it ideally such that you can actually see, like today we'll make offers. You go in your software, you click on one button or one field, and right there come up all the properties that you need make offers with. And then from there you go get there's tools inside that help you make those offers, help you value the property, help you inbuilt calculators, inbuilt calculators to make offers, and integration with a mailing house, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you can actually get 80% stuff done 80% faster. Yeah. That's one of the key things to actually scale your business. But the next one number 4 is a really, really important one, Michelle.
It's the quality of power listings, you know, because there's a different ball game to try to sell a piece of land versus a house that you can stage, that you can put beautiful lighting and take beautiful photos and even do a virtual tour, you know, through for someone. Or show them physically, you know. With land, we're trying to paint a picture depending on who our avatar is, depending on the type of property. Are we selling to a builder? Are we selling to a financial investor? Are we selling to a retiree? Are we selling to a family that wants to go and do recreational stuff, you know? So based on who we're talking to, we're going to be creating a different kind of listing for that land and really dream building about the possibilities of what you can do with this piece of land.
Yeah, I want to answer a question from Alex right now before I jump right into what Michelle just said. And that is like, hey guys, I think it's advisable to see how to market land legally. You need a real estate license in Connecticut to sell property. Well, first of all, Alex, I'm not 100% sure that is true, because here's the thing. When you put a property under contract with using our contract, you talked about that yesterday. There's 4 provisions that make our contract the absolute best in the country. And that is number 1, you can back out of the deal anytime for any reason. Has nothing to do with license. Number 2, you actually, you never even put an escrow deposit down. So those 2 are power ones, because if you don't like the deal anymore for any kind of reason or anything comes up, a title issue or something that you didn't see initially, you can back out of the deal and you lose 0 money. You never will be forced to follow through on the deal. But number 3 is the important one. Number 3 actually says that the seller gives you the right to market the property while you have it under contract. That right there, in my opinion, eliminates the need to have any kind of a license. Now, the other thing is also, if you really need to, because of whatever state laws, to actually buy the property, we have in our universe, we have short-term money lenders, we have transactional funders, we have everything available for you to make sure that you're in compliance with your state law. And here's the 4th thing, like, if you still are not sure whether or not you should do that in Connecticut, there's 49 more other states that you can do this, because the beauty of this method is that you can do it anywhere in the United States. Why the United States? Because access to data is at your fingertips. That is not the case in other states. In Canada, it's much harder to get access to who owns the property. In Mexico, it's almost impossible. In Europe, it's almost impossible. But in the United States, the information about who owns the property, when they bought it, what they paid for it, where they live, and how long have they had the property is all public information. So everything we need to select the best sellers is right there in our fingertips. And on top of it, since it's land, you don't have to go see it.
Yeah.
You don't have to go ever see the properties. We haven't seen a property for 17 years. 17 years out of the 20-something years that we're doing this business, we have not looked at a single property. The last 3,000 deals that we looked at, we have done sight unseen. Nobody in our team has looked at it. And I would estimate that 98% of our students have never seen a piece of land that they have flipped.
Yeah.
Right? So as a result, the entire United States is your thing. And no, you do not need a license to do this. As a matter of fact, if you have a license, it doesn't hurt you. If you don't have a license, it doesn't hurt you.
You're a principal in the transaction, yeah.
You're a principal in the transaction, and by definition, as a principal in the transaction, you don't need a license. Just let me make sure that I'll state that very, very clearly. So with that said, let's jump into the quality.
5.
No, still the quality of power listing. Actually, I want to just go over a few things and just bring in. This is a key point right now that I'm even going to go and cover. For example, question 4 already, some of the 3 levers that to create power listings, how this looks like. As Michelle said, one of the key things when listing land is that you need to speak to the individual buyer and what their dreams are, because here's the thing with land. And that's why, by the way, most land listings you see out there done by realtors are absolutely horrible. Yes, Chris, you can list on the MLS. There's brokerless MLS services and things like that. We'll cover that in the next question. But the most important thing is when you that land. That's why realtors suck at listing land, because realtors are trained to list houses. They're trained to get do a broker open house, to get if necessary, gets a staging company to put beautiful furniture inside, to get a photographer out there, take beautiful pictures at sunset and all pretty lit and everything, then do open houses and so on, and then sell that property. Well, none of that works with land. Like, what are you going to put furniture on the land? That doesn't work. What are you going to put a broker open house and have a bunch of people make their boots dirty while trampling around the land? Doesn't happen. You can't do open houses. You can't show. You can't do staging. A photographer, yeah, perhaps you can send a drone photographer in there and create some cool stuff with that. We do, and that actually works. But other than that, there's what you do with land is actually, here's a key thing. So please write that down. Very, very important. You actually are not selling the land. And of course, the land transfers ownership. That's what you sell. The transaction is about the land. But what you're marketing is not the land. You're marketing what the buyer can do with the land. Keep that in mind. You market what the buyer can do with the land. The future retiree doesn't care if there's 12 trees there or 27 trees or no trees. What the future retiree that knows that he has to live off a budget, that he makes $1,500, he's get a $1,500 Social Security check, and he has to live off that because he has otherwise not much savings. That he knows that he needs a place that is affordable, that has utilities, that is not in the middle of nowhere, but it's, let's say, 5 to 10 miles from the next grocery store, from a church, from a community center, from a bar or restaurant right there, and perhaps only half an hour away from the city. That's what they're looking for. So when you list that property, that's what you talk about. You talk about this property having utilities and being buildable, but then immediately you switch and say, and it's only 10 minutes from this and 10 minutes from that and 5 minutes from that and 15 minutes from there. And if you want to go to the ball game, you're only half an hour away. Now that way, the retiree says, like, it's affordable. It checks the box. I can go grocery shopping. I can go to a restaurant. I'm not in the middle of nowhere. Boom, 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 has utilities. Let's buy it, right? Nobody cares if the soil is sand or dirt or sand or mud or if it's gravel or if there's 5 trees or 10 trees. It's irrelevant. That's completely different to the housing world. In the housing world, it does matter if it's a 2-story or 1-story. Doesn't matter if it's a split floor plan or not a split floor plan. All these things matter, but they don't matter. So you market it completely different. Yeah. For a person that wants a 20-acre parcel, what they want to know is what's around there. Can I go hiking? Can I go biking? Is there a lake close by? Can I go hunting? Can I go fishing? How far is the next town with a gas station? Because all these toys and all these things they burn gas, right? Is there water close by? These are the things that are important that you describe, and you describe them with both pictures and words, because pictures speak louder than words. People don't read anymore. So when you look at it, the quality of a power listing, if you do this right, your properties are going to fly off the shelves. And those that work with us, particularly in our coaching program, that's what we're going to explain to you. We're going to actually have sessions. You're going to work with your one-on-one coach on your listing. They're going to critique your listing. They're going to tweak your listing. They're going to change your listings. They're going to get your listings perfect. And as a result, your properties are going to fly off the shelves. That's the most important part of having a power listing together.
And sometimes Aaron is known to be given, a little bit of tough love on those listings, but it's to help you sell those properties fast. Because at the end of the day, that's what we care about here at Land Profit, in the Land Profit community. Like I said earlier, we believe in 360-degree support, but we follow what we call the care more model. And that is that we want every single one of our students that comes on board with us to see success, to be able to celebrate that first deal that is going to completely sculpt you and build your confidence, build your skill set. Because at the end of the day, if you are not having the income that you need or deserve, it's because you're missing a skill set right now. There's a gap between where you are right now and where you want to be. And we're here to fill in that gap basically for you guys.
Exactly right. So number 5 is now, again, make sure in order to sell properties, you want, if ever possible, offer seller financing. We talked about seller financing yesterday. What is seller financing? Very simply, you want to, instead of just asking for a cash amount, again, let's take that $50,000 property you put on a contract for $10K. Instead of saying, I want a $30,000, which you will sell quickly, how about saying, hey, I'm going to sell it to you for $45,000 and you give me a 25% down payment. 25% of 45,000 is something around, what is that, 13,500. So you get the 13,500 down payment on a deal that you only paid that you're only committing to pay $10,000 for. Remember, we don't buy these properties. We put them on a contract. We have 6 months to close on them. And we all have the right to back out of the contract anytime for any reason. So if anything happened, we can just pull the plug and have no obligations. So the thing is, but in this case, let me ask you a question. Are there more people out there who can afford to pay $30,000 or $35,000 for a property? Or are there more people that can put down a $10,000 or $12,000 or $13,000 down payment and then make monthly payments of $400 or $500? And the answer is obviously B. The answer is obviously the latter. There's more people. You go
from a pool of buyers that is like this to a pool of buyers that is like this.
Yeah. And it accelerates. Like one of our students, he had a property close to the ocean, was one lot away from the ocean. It was worth about $40,000. He had put it up on the market for a cash price or something like $30,000, and it just would not move. And we kept telling him in our coaching program, offer seller financing, raise the price and offer seller financing. He's like, doesn't make sense. Why would anyone buy it at a higher price? Because the price doesn't matter to people. What matters is how much down and how much per month. So sure enough, he raised it to $36,000 and offered it with a 20% down payment because he had it on the contract for just about $7,000 or $8,000. So with the down payment, he almost got all his money back. And guess what? It took a week. He was sitting there for 4 months not selling at a cash price. And with a matter of a week, he had it sold with a $6,000 or $7,000 down payment and $400 a month. So basically with a down payment and 3 months worth of payment, he had all his money back. How about 100% return on investment in a matter of 3 months after you sell the property? Anyone okay with that? That means that your overall return on investment for the year, if you get $350 a month in this case, it's $4,200, it's $4,200 a year. You're getting a 50 to 60% return on investment. Anyone okay with a 50 to 60% return on investment, guys? Like, does that beat the bank? Does that beat inflation? Guys, that's why we're talking about. That's why offering seller financing is so important. And particularly, as we talked about yesterday, we alluded to it, as you get more advanced, there's even strategies that we teach our coaching students that you can do a deal, sell it with seller financing, and then sell the note right the day that this transaction happens. It's what we call a triple close. You buy the property using the buyer's money, you sell the property to the buyer with seller financing, and you take the note and you sell it to a note buyer all in the same transaction, the same day, using zero money out of your own pocket.
That is creative.
That's creative financing. That is creative financing. Now, we don't expect you to know that on day one.
We will teach you.
We will teach you exactly. We will show you. And you come across a deal like that, guess what? You work with your one-on-one coach. They have done those deals many times themselves. They have taught many people how to do that. Boom, we get you together, we structure the deal, we have the note buyers lined up, we have the transactional funding lined up, we have everything lined up for you. All you need to do is follow our steps. So he's excited about that. So with that said, guys, that there's the last one. You also need to track what matters. Tracking what matters, we're actually going to do that in tomorrow's session.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's session, we're going to have a panel together. We're going to go through some more things of particularly how to run your business like a true business.
Yeah.
And we're going to go through the actual numbers and the actual dials that you need to measure in order to not just be the hustler again, but to be the true CEO of your business and have a business that can be a side hustle and make you six figures, that can be retirement income, make 6 figures, a business that allows you to step down from your job or or not get burned out in your job
because
you
burnout
actually,
is a real thing.
Yes, burnout is a real thing. You can literally, if you love what you do in your job, cut down to 50%, right? Because with this business, you can make up way more than the other 50%. Can make more than 6 figures, multiple 6 figures.
Yeah.
Again, and that's all. And we guide you through all these different things, the double closing, the triple closings, and so on. So with that said, guys,
how will you market your properties?
Let's go into what I said about 10 minutes. We're right about there.
Yeah.
The 10 minutes on how to market these properties. Well, very simply, there is 4 lines in your workbook. Let's fill them. The first thing is there's free websites that you can put those properties on. Like websites, for example, and that really answers question number 5 already, Zillow. You don't have to be a realtor to put properties on Zillow, guys. You can, if you're the principal in the transaction as the buyer of the property, you can put that property on Zillow and market it on Zillow and have it seen by thousands of people. Number 2, the buyers list, like websites like Zillow, websites like Facebook Marketplace. Think about that. Facebook groups. Exactly. There's real estate investing groups. If your property's in Alabama, you look up, there's probably 15 groups that focus on people that invest in Alabama. Now, let me ask you, if somebody's a real estate investor in Alabama, might they be interested in adding a lot to them, either a little acreage because they want to go out there for the weekend, or buildable lot that they can build up, or a lot where they can put a mobile home on there and sell it that way? You better bet it is. You better bet it is. There's lots of lots being sold that way. So Facebook Marketplace, Facebook groups, again, land.com. Have you heard about that? Landwatch.com.
That's a paid site.
It's a paid site. Yeah,
but
no, exactly. Right.
Perfect. Yeah.
So the online free sites, but then what we already talked about, buyers lists.
Your
right?
website. And another one that I have, an extra one, is neighbor letters. You know,
we discussed it very briefly a little bit yesterday.
A little bit more about it tomorrow as well.
But neighbor letters, I mean, for those who this is the very first session again, make sure you watch these other sessions because, by the way, all these sessions are going to go away next week. Right? And why again? Because if you may, I told you the story that I met a guy the other day, 35 years old, born and raised in Arizona where we live, had never been to the Grand Canyon. And why? Because it's always there. You can always go next week, which means you always postpone it and you never do it. That's why what we want to do is create urgency, because there's urgency in the market, right? There's urgency in the market right now for various reasons that I already covered. Is the market is the hottest that we have seen. Houses have gone down in value. Land has not. It's driven by multiple forces. Number 1, COVID, because after COVID, people have just their life has changed. They want to have more space. They want to enjoy life more. RV sales are off the chart. Land sales are off the chart. People traveling is off the chart.
Yeah, people are looking at land basically as the hard asset that is the equivalent of gold. You know, land is the gold of real estate, pretty much.
Yeah. Tracking what matters is number 6, Ayub. We already covered that. And so that wasn't question number 1. So, but yeah, land is the gold. But then also with the fact that right now 70 million people in the United States work from home. What that means is that 70 million people can now work where they want to and live where they want to. And they don't have to live close to their work anymore. And not everyone wants to live in the suburbs, in the master plan community suburbs with HOAs that you get a ticket if you leave your garbage can out for a day too long, where you're too loud at night and things. No, they want space. They want 5 acres, 10 acres. They want to have a horse. They want to have a cow. They want to have some chickens. They want to have a goat. They want to have a space to put a few cars on there. They want to have they want that. And we did that already Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We asked you guys to raise your hand if that's what said you, and dozens of people said, yeah, that's exactly what I want. Right. So again, the world has has conspired to bring a massive demand for these properties. And then add one thing to that, and that is like, I think it's called Skylink or something like that from Elon Musk, which is this his internet service. He basically, through his rockets, he shot up thousands of tiny little satellites that are sitting around the globe, and they, for the first time ever, allow for affordable, high-speed internet in the middle of nowhere. Starlink, thank you very much, Buke. In the middle of nowhere, right? So you can now be 2 hours away from town and set up camp on an RV or build a cabin, put one of these little things, satellite dishes out there, and have full-blown streaming quality internet. That means that you can work from there, which was absolutely impossible. Before that, those kind of more rural acreage was weekend fun. That's it. You got to be back by Sunday night because Monday morning you got to be in a conference call or in an office. Now you can be anywhere you want to be. Yeah. It's absolutely mind-blowing how this has taken off, when these two things and multiple things have driven land. So there's an urgency to make land, to get into this business right now, because this is what works right now. Land, the wholesalers are out of wholesaling because wholesaling is like stagnant, prices are down and so on. But in land, we have not seen a slowdown, and we don't think we're going to see a slowdown. So here's the thing. Why do you want to waste the opportunity of your lifetime? And with that said, guys, what I want to do right now is I actually want to introduce you to our, I talked about it yesterday when I asked you guys to who wants to work with us. I want to introduce you to one of our programs, which we have multiple programs. We have programs starting from literally a home study course all the way to VIP coaching. And our flagship program that I would like to talk to you about for just a couple of minutes right now is our Land Profit Masters coaching program. Well, the Land Profit Masters coaching program consists of a 12-month coaching program, which is literally a one-on-one coaching program with master coaches. We have 17 master coaches in our company that all have, every single one of them has gone through our coaching program, have quit their jobs afterwards, are doing multiple six figures, $500,000, $1 million, you name it, are making hundreds of thousands of dollars in land flipping. They're the top 1% of land flippers in the entire United States, in the entire world, because some of them even live overseas and take care of more of our European students, of which we have quite a few. And because you can even do that from Germany, from Switzerland, from Chile, from Canada, from anywhere in the world in the United States. And so you get one-on-one coaching with these masters of land flipping. Now, this is Zoom style coaching. Basically, they can share their screen. You can share their screen. It's like you literally show you, here's how you do that. These live sessions with one-on-one sessions are being recorded. You have access to them afterwards and can review them again and again and again. Heck, even our daughter is going through coaching right now. She just sent out her first letters. She's just getting her first phone calls right now, and she's super excited about it. And she's 15. While our head of marketing, Claire, her 14-year-old son, already has done a deal, made $8,500, and is working on a $20,000 deal right now. So guys, this works no matter whether you're 14 or whether you're 85 or 84. It does not matter. We have students in their 80s. Eileen and I didn't want to mention her name and age them, but we have students in their 80s that doing six figures in land flipping. So with that said, it's one-on-one coaching. Also, each week there's multiple group training sessions. There's on Mondays, there's one there where we talk about buying. There's on Wednesdays one which is about selling. There's another one which is all about scaling. There's on top of it, there's what we call cohort sessions, where we put you together with those that are at the same level that you are right now. So you learn learn what you need to take that next step. Right? On top of it, you get 2 bonus jumpstart sessions at the very beginning. And because there's no reason to wait, you can book them right away with your master coach, get on and select those counties, which is that number one most important thing, because if you select those wrong, everything goes to hell in a handbasket. If you select it right, everything goes like smooth, and you're on track to make six figures. You can make the most of your marketing dollars. Exactly right. Yeah. And then on top of it, we also start you like right away in the first couple of weeks. We start you in a 6-week quick start intensive program to get your business set up. Then on top of it, we actually go, you have regular account. We have on staff, we have a team of 7 full-time accountability partners. They're on salary with us. And their job in life is to make sure that nobody falls off the bandwagon. That literally they check in with you. So like, are you good? Are you moving forward? What do you need? And then they go and they find you the resources to make sure you help you. They might book your call with with a different master coach if you need a specialty kind of thing. They might look for a recording for you that helps you. They might just give you a pep talk if you need one, right? Whatever it is you need, we as a team, we have committed to 360-degree support. Nobody in the industry does that. On top of it, you get our CRM, you get a 2-day Land Profit Maximizer workshop, which is a software training. You get our processes, you get our attorney review contracts. Heck, only the attorney review contracts cost us well over $50,000 to do this. And on top of it, brand new, we're going to start you off with even giving you already a credit for 2,500 leads. So when you do the county selection, you select your bunch of counties, you right away, you don't even have to pay for the first 2,500 leads. We're going to give them to you. You get a credit, you go in there through our software, you literally pull it from the data source that we hooked into, and boom, the first 2,500 are on us.
So the typo, it meant to say it's only for the first 10 that actually book your call today and enroll with us. Yeah,
exactly right. And the way you book a call right now, every single person that yesterday said I'm in, or yesterday said skip the line, make sure you go right now. I give you permission to pull up that different website and go to landcoaching.com and book a call right now with our team and start talking about which of these options are in there. So again, this is the Land Profits Masters coaching, but it also components of it can be taken individually depending on what your budget is and so on. We have really something for everyone. This is our flagship program. Obviously, this is the one that we recommend. But again, so on top of it, also if you pay in full today, if you book your call today and you enroll today and you pay in full, you actually get a $5,000 discount. And on top of it, the first 3 people that actually do that, they're actually the first people they enroll, whether full pay or non-full pay, because we do have payment plans, guys. We have payment plans. You can stretch out your payments all the way up to, I think, 8 or 10 months, right? You have a down payment and then you make payment plans. So we can work with it. Even if you don't think you have the money for it, make sure you go and book that call, all right? Make sure you book that call.
And those first 3, I think, get the extra.
Yes, and if you're the first 3 you get an extra 3 one-on-one sessions with master coaches. I mean, every one of these sessions is worth their weight in gold. And then on top of it, for the first 10 people also, we actually going to throw into absolute mega bonuses. The first one is a done-for-you deal. So we are literally going to do a deal for you or put the pieces in place for a deal for you. And the way we're going to do that is there's 2 ways to do this business. The first way is that you select the counties, you send out letters, you have people call you back, and then you make an offer. This is how we standard teaches. That's how we're going to go through it. However, once you know an area, so over time, you'll probably then switch into way 2. A lot of our advanced students have transitioned into way 2 of doing this business, because that is that once you know an area really well, and you know what properties sell for, what you can buy them there, what your margins in there, what's the demand in there, and so on. And you know that there's an area that you can do tons of deals and make your $15,000, $20,000 profits. At that moment, there's no more need to send letters and have people call you. You literally send out what we call blind offers directly to sellers. And guess what? What we're going to do is something crazy. We have a list of about 50 of those blind offer areas. Or Aaron, one of our head coaches, one of our coaches, has master coaches, has a list of 50 of them. He's going to give you 200 leads from one of his areas that he knows that he can do a ton of deals in, and he's going to give you those 200 leads. He's going to give you the dollar amount to offer them. He's going to help you actually in the co-working sessions to literally set that up and send those out with you. Literally, he's going to do that next week. So literally next week, and I'm saying literally a lot, but next week, factually next week, you are going to, if you enroll right now, today, tomorrow, over the weekend, literally next week, you are going to send your first 200 offers out to an area we know we get deals to at the price point we know that we can get deals, and at a price point that we know you will be able to make money. So how about that? Who wants to have their first deal already be done for you, almost like, and make your first 10 or 15 or $20,000? Would that be worth it? Just give me a heck yes here. And put it in there,
because I know that, we know that all of you are busy. So this is basically simplifying to multiplying from the get-go. We have a student actually in medical sales that from this 200, blind offer campaign got his first deal. I think it was a $13,000 deal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And so this could be you.
This could be you, exactly right. But you got to take action because it's only for the 10 people available. We have about 24 spots available. That's it, not more, because what we do when we start a masterclass, we ask our coaches how much availability they have, how much capacity they have, because they're all doing this part-time. They're all full-time land flippers and part-time giving back coaching
To the community.
to the community.
Really blessing others with the same blessing that they received at some point when they were in your shoes, you know, making a decision like this one that could completely change the trajectory of your life.
All right. So Larry said that error, try it again, landcoaching.com. That's the word. So if the link didn't work, just make sure, and Jennifer just sent you a DM. Okay, good. Then also going on from there, there's again, this is the different pieces. Now again, we also have other programs like home study program, 6-week thing, different pieces that you can do that, even VIP level coaching. But this is our core offer right now. Now again, I'm not like there's multiple different offers. So instead of me going to like, this is what this costs, and this is what this costs, this is what this costs, just book a call. Know that there's multiple options. Whether you have a little money or you have some access to some funds, here's the thing. Any one of these offers is going to accelerate your path to success. So make sure.
Because we've already made a lot of the mistakes that you're going to make if you try to do this on your own, you know, trying to duct tape and put the pieces on your own. Over thousands and thousands of iterations, we have already, you know, come up with, contracts, scripts, templates. I mean, you name it, the systems, the processes, the steps. We have the blueprint for you guys. So why not take advantage of us being, you know, already in chapter 10 and help you accelerate in collapse time, you know, for your chapter 1, which, you know, leads me to the next question, which was, what do you need to do in order to collapse time and get 10x results? Well, you need to have a superior strategy, which you have here in land. You have to have a superior approach, which if you are in a community with people that are the top 1%, you're going to get a superior team of people behind you that are going to be there, rain or shine, you know, for you, that are going to be, you know, the top people in this industry with their eyes in your business, making sure that you are moving forward.
Exactly right. So with that said, guys, who wants to be in on this? Who would love for us to help you for a year, not just 3 months, not 6 months, for a full year, and literally bring you from A all the way to mastery, as we laid it out yesterday, to the 4 stages of learning, of growth, as we talked about it. Put in the words "I'm in" if you're in on this. If you want to talk to us about it, put in the words "I'm in." And right now, I'm seeing like we're having like, I don't know, combined 200 people here. I would love, obviously, you're day 4 right now. I would love for 200 people to say "I'm in" right now. Put in the words "I'm in," and then make sure you go to landcoaching.com and book that call. Because again, this is on purpose a 1-year program, because we literally laid out the process. So like, as we said, the first 90 days is all about starting up your business, setting up your system, selecting those counties, getting those first mailers out, getting those first 1 to 3 deals under contract and potentially even already sold, right? Then the next 90 days is all about scaling up, overwhelming yourself with deals. Like, as we said, we talked to Lori Halter yesterday. She's like, she's getting deals from left and right, and she's on track to make $350,000 this year because she's getting overwhelmed with deals. Who would like to get overwhelmed with deals? And then when you get overwhelmed with deals, that's a happy place, right? Then we're going to help you.
What I like to call complexities of abundance. You know, you have complexities of scarcity where you don't have enough money, enough time, enough of things. Here, you're going to have complexities of abundance. These are champagne problems, guys.
Exactly.
When you have overwhelm of deals.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And then there's an investment in coaching. But then, hey, many people have gotten their investment back in a matter of like, I don't know, 3 to 6 months or so, and so on. And then the third, because once you're in that point where you get like overwhelmed by deals, we then help you in the third phase, help you to actually build in the systems and the automations. And at that point, you probably hire your first VA and so on. And ultimately you reach mastery. And when you reach mastery, like, I don't know, some people reach mastery in 6 months from now. Some people take a year from now. But when you reach mastery, you're in a position that you can work an hour or 2 hours a day and do as many deals as you want to, make $100,000, make $150,000, make $300,000, or like Jonna, like Aaron, like Jeanette, make $500,000 plus on what essentially is a part-time time involvement. And now we're talking about, well, how would that help with retirement, right? How would that help with getting rid of that job that you make perhaps a great salary? Perhaps you make 100K, 150, 200K, right? But you're dying inside. You know what? put that job on autopilot for the next 6 months
Yeah.
and spent an hour, 2 hours a day at night during the weekends on this business. Jonna had a job where she worked 14 hours a day, and she still, within 6 months, she had made 6 figures and she was able to quit. But let's bring Tim Ebier on there. Tim is one of our coaching students too that now has graduated from coaching, and Tim is crushing it out there. Let's bring Tim Ebier up here. So where's Tim?
Is
There
Tim
we
there?
are. Is Tim there? Is Tim there? Going once, going twice.
What's
There
cracking?
is Tim.
Hey, Tim, how are you?
Hey, what's going on? Good. How you guys doing?
We are doing fantastic. But the question really is, how are you doing? How's your land business doing?
I was good. It's good. I mean, you just got to keep trucking along, right? It's a process, but I mean, everything you guys are saying is just right. It's right. It's spot on, right? It's a process. You got to get the fundamentals down. I think Jack and Michelle, because I've talked to other land groups out there. One thing I will say about Jack and Michelle, which I do like, is when it's all said and done, you got to know the fundamentals, man, of how investing works. So they can teach you how to kind of scale and build a business without spending too much money, which is the key, right? You got to have the skill set, right, on how to kind of put deals together. So that's what they teach, which I think is great, which helped me. So.
Tim, and at the beginning, you were a little bit of a skeptic. And what did you do?
What did I do? I mean, I jumped right in, man. You guys know the story, man. I listened to our Jack
Before
podcast.
jumping right in, you were like, oh my goodness, let me check these guys out. And then you started, really doing research, and you figured out, okay, this is real.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just binged on all. People watch Netflix. I said, no more Netflix. My Netflix became Jack's podcast. And I watched all his podcast episodes to really just kind of understand it. And I think you build confidence. And after a while, I think I've been in a few other real estate groups, right? It's rare to see so many actual students, which are real people and not paid actors, have real success, right? So, the people are real. Like some people I saw posted on Facebook, I know some of these people personally, right? So I reached out, did research, and it's legit. It's the real deal. As long as you do the work, I mean, it's almost inevitable as long as you just do what they're telling you. You gotta kind of brainwash yourself and say, you know what? If they tell me to do A, B, and C, I'm just gonna do exactly what they say. Put all your preconceived notions to the side, and you're gonna win. I'm not the only one. So, hey, Jack and Michelle, I got to tell you guys, man, I didn't post this on Facebook because I haven't been on Facebook recently. Jack, I think you posted one time on Facebook how you left your job after a year when you started doing it. So it's been a dream come true. I ended up leaving my job, after 16 years in corporate America as of December 31st of last year. So this is first time here, full time.
Yeah, congratulations!
So,
I'm excited. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's been huge.
Baby. That's
so in other words, you went through the entire coaching program while doing this part-time, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, doing it part-time. I won't say part-time.
In the first year, you did how many deals?
First year, I want to say maybe 20 or 30, maybe about 30
20
deals.
or 30 deals. Part-time.
About 30 deals. 30.
Deal. By the way, guys, just quickly, if you're in the housing world, and you meet anyone close that has done close to that, he is the mega rock star of that program, and there's nobody even close to that. With us, 20, 30 deals, Tim is one of, I don't know, probably 100 students who have done that or so, right? So this is the standard. This is what, if you do what we ask you to do, it is absolutely possible to do 20 or 30 deals in your first year, even while doing this part-time. Not everyone does, because not everyone moves at that speed. But if you do the things we ask you to do, you'll get there, right? Now, since then, now you're through, you're out of the program, you now quit your job. How does this year look like?
Oh, it's good. I mean, I think we're at the mastery level you said, right? I mean, it's a process, right? You start off knowing how to do deals yourself. You got to know how point A to Z works, right? Then after a while, you kind of begin to build in systems, improve your skill sets. So we're at the point where obviously we're scaling. We kind of have the systems and processes down. So it's actually, we're, hiring out team. I just brought on the acquisition manager. I brought on the general VA. Later this year, towards the third quarter, our goal is bring on a disposition manager / transaction coordinator, because now you have a team in place that can actually streamline the process for you. So we're at the stage where we're building out the team to kind of run.
So what's a trajectory, revenue-wise for this year then?
Yeah, this year we're pretty aggressive. We want to hit 7 figures. So we're looking at 7 figures. That's our goal. Last year we did about 650 revenue. The gross profit margin is probably about 50% of that. Our first year coming off coaching, I think we did first year in coaching. We joined the coach. I think we did around 300 revenue, and I think the gross was about 200, which is incredible, right, Jack? Like I said, right, you did a video once. I keep going back to Jack on YouTube. He did a video once talking about, hey, people make these goals that they want to make $10 million. It's crazy, right? But he was like, let's do something reasonable, like 250,000. I don't know if you remember that video, Jack. And I was like, man, I never thought about making 250. That's reasonable. It seems high, but it wasn't too high that it wasn't achievable, right? And we went for it, and we ended up making about 200K. This was the gross that year. This is the first year in coaching. Okay. Net, yes, exactly.
And you know what? You're right. We're now living in this world where $250,000 is like, yeah, that's a reasonable goal. But I remember when Michelle and I started, our goal was just to make about $75,000 because that's what we I think like almost combined made in our jobs, right? Yeah. So we're just like, all we want to do is replace our jobs. But guess what? I think we did like $400,000 in the first year. And we're like, holy cow.
And it really pushed the boundaries of what was possible for us, because at the beginning we couldn't see that much. But once you get there in a matter of 12 months, you're like, oh my goodness, if this is possible in 12, and that's me learning all the ins and outs, what is possible once I have built the muscle of repetition, because repetition and that mastery that comes from being 10,000 hours in something and really mastering your craft really accelerates and turbocharges that for year 2 and for year 3, and now you're in, year 2, year 3.
Yeah, I'll say year 3. This is year 3.
Year 3. So year now 3. You're going for, a 7-figure opportunity, 600,000 the second year, 300 the first year, and now that's a trajectory. So I want you guys to basically project yourselves into the future and look at what is possible here, and somebody that is already living it. Yeah.
It actually goes in 2 ways. The first thing is that what you think is impossible right now will become your new normal.
Yeah, you normalize that.
You normalize it. If you think, oh my God, I could make $100,000, soon enough you'll make $100,000, and that becomes the new bottom. That becomes the new standard, because you've learned the skills. Think about anything you do, like bicycle riding. The first time you fall off and you find, but once you know it, soon enough, if you practice it more, you do wheelies and you do things like that, and you jump and you mountain bike and all this kind of stuff, and that becomes normal. And that's really in everything you do. But then the other thing is also, once you normalize your $5,000 or $10,000 or $15,000 deals, you now start going for larger deals. And I'm sure that you're doing that. I don't know, but I'm sure you're doing that too. I'm sure part of this plan this year is some higher price deals too, right?
Yeah, eventually. I mean, we want to go into like the subdivision play, right? And when you start going to like subdivision and subdivides, I think naturally after a while you're going to go after bigger deals. You start going after subdivides, then subdivisions. That's kind of where we eventually want to get to, right? But our first plays, we want to get all our singles down, our doubles down, which are like 10, 15, 20, 50K deals, get a few 6-figure deals. Then after you go from your micro flips, right, you get into like subdivides. This, I'm sure, Jack, this is more advanced. You guys have it, right? You go into subdivides, then subdivisions. So I think it's a natural progression. Then, you got all layers. You have flips, subdivision. These are just bigger paydays, right? So it just depends how far you want to take it. So
bigger paydays for sure. Right. Paydays where you're adding zeros to your dollars.
Yeah, that's going to be one of our bonus sessions we do. I think even next week we're adding some bonus sessions just before everything gets shut down. We'll add a bonus session about how to add zeros to your dollars. I want to quickly address a question by Monica. It's just like, hey, do we have anyone who speaks Spanish? Now, Monica, book a call. And if your English is not good enough to really have the full conversation, perhaps bring somebody in, a child or somebody like that. But then we do have coaches that speak Spanish. So we do have coaches that speak Spanish, not a whole lot of them, but we have a couple of master coaches that are fluent in Spanish. So if necessary, we like to teach this in English. And actually, one of the prerequisites to do this business is you need to be able to speak English. Because when you
you talk to sellers and when you talk to buyers, you're going to have to use it.
Most of the sellers speak English. Most of the buyers speak English. If you have to check on a few things in the county occasionally, they speak English. So you got to speak English, or at least have somebody next to you that can do that for you. Just to be very, very clear, right? Yeah. So Tim, that's
I wanted to mention, because Tim, you're super driven, and I know that, for example, for you, but you also understand that the entrepreneurial journey is like an emotional roller coaster. Oh yeah. And that's what takes most people out. Really, that's what takes most people out, and that's why we emphasize a 12-month program because of that. But also, so we bring that to the table. But in coaching, you also had the situation where, did you know about triple closes? Did you know about the latest and greatest in terms of tactics of what's working and what's not working? Like, how was coaching transformational to you from that perspective?
Yeah, and that's what I said, right? A lot of people have this preconceived notion when you get into real estate, you need all this money. You really don't. Of course, you do need money, I think, for two things, for coaching, and I highly recommend coaching. I believe in investing in yourself. It's non-negotiable, right? In coaching and also marketing, right? You got to send out mailers or whatever. After that, right, the thing you're going to learn from Jack and Michelle, what I learned from coaching is the mindset, how to, it's a specialized knowledge, right? Michelle mentioned triple close. I never heard about triple closes. I know some advanced investors today, right? Even in houses that have been there for years, they don't even understand the concept of how to put together a triple close, right? And, so I think those are one of many things that you learn, and you can learn how to put deals together, to kind of take things forward, because you're going to have to understand that, have that specialized knowledge, right? So, and the other great thing about the coaching, I think you do have the journeys, but I think the great thing, at least for me, was the weekly, the daily coaching calls you guys have, where the community comes on the coaches kind of help people with selling, buying, and scaling, et cetera, et cetera. I think that little mini mastermind, other people on the same journey with you, I just think it helps, because when you hear somebody else doing good, or somebody else's success story, or somebody struggling with an area that you're struggling with, like with me, the first day I joined coaching, the first coaching call, there was something I was struggling with. They just solved it within 10 seconds. I was blown away. It was like I was struggling with this for weeks, right? So that's the kind of thing you get to be a part of, people on the same journey with you. So I think it's a no-brainer personally. So
yeah, exactly right. So now, just to let you guys know, what is a triple closing, what we just talked about earlier, where you can buy a property, sell it with seller financing, and sell the note that you're creating,
all
right?
in the same transaction.
All in the same transaction without using a dollar of your own money. Like, that was something that our students were struggling with. They were getting deals under contract for $40,000, selling them for $100,000, but only getting a $15,000 down payment. So they were short $25,000. We're like, how do we solve this? Bring in note buyer. We created the solution as a team, brought it to the student body, and have vetted the note buyers. And now this is a very well working model. And yeah, you're right. I talked to a very well-known, I was interviewed by a very well-known wholesaler and real estate investor yesterday. When I laid out the concept, his eyes kind of he's like, whoa, that is like advanced stuff. Yeah, but it's simple but advanced stuff that we're doing, and you're not being left alone on that. We literally walk you through. You use this for document for that. You fill it this out this way. Use this document for that. You get this document here. This is what you advise the title company to do. And because you have your master coach work with you. So with that said, Tim, thank you so much. Again, congratulations, $1 million this year.
Nice. And also go to landcoaching.com. I mean, Tim right now just said, this is the best money that you will spend. This is probably going to be the best decision that you are going to make in 2023, and probably one of the top 3 best decisions in your life. Yeah. I can say that with confidence, because our results speak for themselves. Our students are seeing results.
Yeah, Aaron was here on Tuesday, and he says he lives next to Brown University, which is one of the Ivy League schools out there, and people spend $70,000 on a year on college over there, and then they get out and they get a job where they make 10 grand more than they did before college. Doesn't make any sense. Over here,
you're going to be earning while you're learning.
And our program is costs way less than 1 year of college in those places, right? So you actually earning while you're learning, and you get a PhD in making money. So guys, who is in? Who wants a PhD making money? Put in the words "I'm in," and then book that call. But we have a few more things to cover. I know today goes a little bit over. And so we covered question number 1. We covered question number 2. We covered question number 3. Let's go into question number 4 one more time. And that is just like, what are the 3 levers of creating a power listing? Now, I covered the power listing in question 1 already when we talked about the importance of a power listing. But let's talk about briefly. The very most important thing to create a great listing is to understand your buyers. Again, who are your buyers?
Buyer psychology. Yeah.
For the infill lots, our buyers are builders. For the lots in the outskirts of town in the path of growth, the buyers are either financial buyers, that somebody that basically says that has a bunch of money in the stock market, is sick and tired of the ups and downs of the stock market. They take the money off the table. They instead what they do is they buy a piece of land 5 miles outside of the last development, and they do absolutely nothing with it. Why do they do that? Because if the city is growing and each year it's expanding by half a mile outwards, and this property is 5 miles out there, it's going to take 10 to 15 years, let's say, until this property is completely built around. Everything around it is built out. There's a grocery store there. There's a playground there. There's a school there. There's all kinds of stuff. And that 5-acre lot sits there completely empty. What happened to the value of that 5-acre lot over those 15 years? Right now, it might be worth $50,000, right? You got it for 10, you sold it for 30, they got a bargain, they paid $30,000, you made $20,000. 15 years from now, that lot is probably worth $500,000 an acre. So now they put money into that deal. They held on, and over 15 years or so, they've taken $30,000 to be worth $2.5 million. Heck, if it's only worth $100,000 an acre, they've taken $30,000 and made it worth $500,000. People do that all day long, the people with money. So that's your buyer, one of your buyers. Does that buyer care about whether there's 3 trees or 5 trees on their property, whether there's utilities to the property at this point? No, they don't care. They're just buying it because it's in the path of growth, right? That's one of your buyers. So you need to talk to them in that way. Another buyer is the future retiree. We talked about them already. They need to live further outside because prices are too high in the city for most people. Sad statistic, most people over the age of 50, 70% of the people over the age of 50 don't have more than a few $1,000s saved up, right? Yeah. It's crazy. It's sad. But you know what? They got to do that. Or they getting involved with us and they're becoming the different one. They're becoming smart and they're actually building a business and making an abundance that helps them in their retirement. Then again, the last kind of property is and also the COVID buyers, as we call them, the people that are now virtual. They can live anywhere they want. They want 5 acres, 5 miles away, 10 miles away, 15 miles away, so that they can have their own homestead out in the nature. They love that, and still, if necessary, once or twice per week commute into the city. And then the people in the outskirts, the larger acreage is attractive to the fun-loving RV kind of person, right? So again, those are the things. Knowing and understanding your buyer and what they're looking for is absolutely critical. Is absolutely critical, right? People are sick and tired of living that 8 to 5 lifestyle. You are sick and tired of poverty. Who is sick and tired of living the 8 to 5? Right? Yes, and I can see your hand.
It's more like 8 to 8.
Yeah, and it's more like an 8 to 8. Right? I see you, Valerie. I see you waving your hand here. Right? And then the second concept is we actually have a formula to create the listing in the best possible way. And that formula is called AIDA. AIDA stands for A, it's an acronym. A stands for attention. I stands for interest. D stands for action, and the last A stands for D stands for desire,
yeah.
And the last A stands for action. What that means is that we design our listing such that the very much most important thing at the very beginning is a kick-ass headline. And for those of you who are going to join us in coaching, guess what? Our coaches have put together a list of 30 headlines that are guaranteed to double the amount of leads you get from of people that contact you about that property.
Yeah.
Interested.
Yeah.
Guaranteed, because it makes a difference whether you say 2 acres for sale or whether you say 2 acres, 40% before market, ocean views or mountain views, et cetera, et cetera. There's certain keywords that you can use in those headlines that are guaranteed to double the amount of exposure your ads are getting, your listings are getting. So again, if you're in coaching, you get those. They're right there in our resource list. And then, but the interest is you're now talking about the property, but you also do this in pictures. You don't just say, hey, this is 2 acres of blah, 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 blah. Nobody cares, as I mentioned before. The financial buyer doesn't care. The COVID buyer cares perhaps a little bit, but what they care about is, where's the next church? Where's the next grocery store? Where's the next interstate? How far?
Hospital.
How long does it take me to get into town? Where's the next hospital? So you talk about the things that they want to do with the property and on the property and from the property. And then you make the desire, and the desire part is pricing. That thing is worth $100,000 and you can sell it with seller financing. You list it at $90,000 with 20% down. They're like, oh my God, I can buy this property and I can actually afford it. Great. Or you say, if you want to pay cash, you can buy it for $69,000. Drop the price. They're like, oh my God, I'm getting a $20,000 discount buying it cash. I can't wait. Let me buy that thing. Right? You use psychology for those things, and we have training programs on that. We'll teach that exactly how to do. If you never as I mentioned the other day, we have students that are like complete left brain, analytical, never sold anything in their life. Heck, that's me for that matter. Before we started our land business, I never sold anything in my life. Mm-hmm. Like I was a bookworm. I was on the couch reading, studying, and this we now that's what makes us good at it actually. Because
it's the fact that what was your weakness in the beginning becomes your strength.
Yeah, because you look at like in soccer, Diego Maradona. You've heard of Maradona, right? The legend in soccer, right? Maradona or Ronaldo. probably,
I've heard of Ronaldo.
of course, Ronaldo. She loves Ronaldo. But the thing is, Maradona, Pelé, they all sucked as coaches. You know why? Because they were so naturally good at everything that they don't know how to convey it to somebody else. You know, we sucked in sales at the beginning and we had to learn how to sell. And because of that, we can teach you how to market properly. We can teach you how to put the listing together properly because we had to learn it from scratch. We're not naturally born sellers. Does that make sense, guys? And that's what you want to learn. Most of the coaches, like, what's the coach of the Patriots? I forgot, Patrick, what's the coach of the Patriots? Like, we're not having football
It's
fans
Bill
here in the room, but
Belichick.
Belichick, thank you. Bill Belichick didn't even play in the NFL, right? But he became the best coach in the world because he wasn't the best player. So the point is, now we have done 4,500 deals. We became the best in the land space. We are the best in the land space.
Sheer repetition.
But from sheer repetition and learning, but we had to learn it the hard way, which enables us to teach you all the tricks and pieces that the average person needs to become a superstar in land flipping. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Can I get a heck yes if that makes sense, guys? Right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So that's
And there's also programs and just other strategies in real estate that to begin with are not meant for a beginning investor. But land flipping here, this is an opportunity here that does not discriminate on age, on background, you know, whatever background you come with, you know, you are going to see success if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to go all in, if you're willing to focus versus having entrepreneurial ADD. And more than anything, do what your coach asks you to do because things are not going to happen. A deal is not going to fall from the sky just from osmosis.
Yeah, and that's why we also have 17 coaches, and each of them have a superpower. And tomorrow you'll meet some of those, but one of them is the master negotiator. Like to this degree, way outpaces Michelle and I in the ability to negotiate. Guess what? He's going to run some negotiation training for you guys. Right? Yeah. So you're not just learning from us, you're learning from the best of the best of the best within the land coaching space. Right? Yeah. That's really where it all comes together. Again, and that's what you all roll into your listing. And then as when you have this and you put the right pricing and you put the right sequence in, boom, all of a sudden there's sometimes, not every time, but there's sometimes the case where sometimes people got over 1,000 inquiries on a piece of land. How would you like to get 1,000 inquiries on a piece of land? Right? Yeah. Do you think that property is going to sell quickly or slowly? Quickly, of course, right? Yeah. Quickly, it's going to sell. And then lastly, also the levers, how to talk to buyers and sellers, particularly to buyers on the sales end. And again, that's where like guys like Aaron coming in, like Gary coming in. Yeah. We love Gary. Gary buys. We love Aaron and Gary. For Gary, I always say he buys the properties for breakfast and sells them for lunch. He literally sells them in one day. Would you like to know how to do that? Yeah. That's the kind of things you learn here. And then again, where do you post them? Zillow, Facebook Marketplaces, land.com. And there's only one thing left right now, which is reverse engineering your goals and create a calendar for the next 4 quarters to really make 10x your income, create that retirement income, refill that 401k, that ROA, make sure you don't get burned out at your job, be able to phase down at your job and really put more effort over in here because you got something that you are in control. And it doesn't matter who is president, and it doesn't matter who is I don't know what the Fed does, and it doesn't matter what interest rates do.
You're creating your own economy.
You're creating your own economy. And with that said, the last question, Michelle, is the reverse engineering. It's very simple. It's the same. I really already covered it. Yeah. It's similar to the 4 stages of growth. You need to first focus on setting up your systems and getting those county selection done and getting those mailers out. Nothing happens without that. Yeah. Right. So your first quarter will be dedicated to doing exactly that. Mahalani was supposed to be here. Mahalani couldn't make it short term. Mahalani is on her coaching students.
I think she had already her first couple of deals, you know. Yeah. So
Mahalani actually she lives in a big island of Hawaii. She does deals all over the United States. And in her first 6 months in coaching, she made $100,000. Anyone okay with that? 100 grand in the first 6 months? Right. How did she do that? She focused on setting up her systems and on getting the mail, selecting those counties and getting the mail out. Then she focused on follow-up and getting deals under contract. And then she focused on selling those deals. That took her to her first few deals in the first 3 months and then to 100 grand in the first 6 months. Then she focused on adding the third quarter is adding now a couple of virtual assistants at $1,000 a month. They don't come out of her pocket. They come out of the profits. The business is now self-funding, guys. And the business feeds the profits feed the business and allow you to make even more business, more profits. And now she's making multiple six figures in her life. And she's traveling the mainland, I think the main USA right now with her mom. And who wants that, right? And she's kayaking in a competition, kayaking. She said something to Michelle that really touched us. She said, what did she say to you?
She said, Michelle, I had been a stay-at-home mom for so long, and I was basically homeschooling my boys. And what this business allowed me is to, number one, contribute, to the income of the family. But number two, it has allowed me to really fall in love with my life again. And now that her kids are old, this was I have goosebumps, just remembering her words. And this is what, we would love for you guys to have as well, to fall in love with your life. If you're burned out right now,
and with herself again too.
If you're stressing out about, finances, if you are, concerned about your future, if you are not having freedom, the freedom that you want and deserve, if you're not really getting ahead, yes, you're paying the bills, but not getting ahead. This is it. This is the only coaching program that you will ever need, and you will have an undeniable advantage. There's no question about it.
You're learning a technique that will never change.
Yeah.
Some of the technology around it changes, the tactics change, but the foundational strategy has worked 20 something years ago when we started, works exactly the same right now, will continue to work the same right now. So you will never have to learn another strategy in your life. On top of it, we are the Harvard of land business. We combine it with, as I said, with a year-long program, with one-on-one coaching, with group coaching, with accountability partner, with the software, with training, with a 6-week quick start intensive, with daily sessions that you can plug in. We have accountability partners that check in with you, with the documents, with the resources, with the follow-up. I mean, it's the best and most comprehensive program that the industry has seen. As a result, you see the successors of our students, like the Tim Avieta, Mahalanis. I mean, as a matter of fact, I put together a little sheet here that just shows, I don't know if you can see that, there's full of names here. This is just from the last few months. Some of the people like Linda Reeder made $175,000 on her deal just I think last month. Chris Thomas quit his job. Janetta Mayo is on track for $1 million this year. Andrea Freeman, Barbara Thibaudier, Phil Fogliani, Dixie Wright, Lynn Landry, Aaron Smith, Amy London, Dana James, David, Asa, Jim, Achim, Dean, Travis, Anusavi, Carolina, makes $350,000 right now. Courtney, Theo, Lisa, Marks, Parker, Malani, Diana, George, Jorge, Monica, Travis. I mean, it goes on and on. Jana, Chris, Lorraine, Kristen, Stephen, Janice, Jax, Aaron.
Life guys from
it just goes on and on. Yes.
Elementary teacher to waitresses to truck driver to attorney to dentist to engineer. I mean, you name it.
College students like Max and Caitlin in the first 3 months did $100,000. In the first 9 months, did something like $350,000. And while still in college, guys.
Yeah.
Again, 80-year-olds making $150,000 a year. It's just never ending. And if you ask us why we do this, because Mahalani says it, that gives us goosebumps when somebody says like Mahalani that she fell in love with her life again. She fell in love with herself again, and her life has been changed forever.
Yeah.
Guys, if you want to be that, book a call and put in right now one more time. Put in right now while Michelle finishes up with some last words. Put in the words, I'm in, if you want to talk to us. Put it right now and go to landcoaching.com and book that call. But also put in the words I'm in so our team can reach out to you. But most importantly, take the initiative, book a call. We have payment plans. We have programs all the way from here to all the way from there in multiple things, multiple different lengths and so on. So this is not the only program we have. If you think you can't afford it, think again. Where there's a will, there's a way. Talk to us. We'll figure something out. With that said, Michelle, finish it up.
We are going to see each other then. If you have any questions regarding our coaching program today at 4 p.m. in this closed door Zoom call. Also, if you have any questions regarding the content as well, it's an opportunity for us to answer your questions and be in a much more intimate environment and help answer and clarify anything, that you need help with. Of course, your land expert is here as well. But with that, also make sure you check inside of the Facebook group. We have there the homework post for today, because we still have one more prize. And tomorrow we have our master coaches. We have a panel of coaches that are going to be talking about what numbers are important in this business and what are kind of like the metrics that are going to help you to not just make this plane take off, but, make the plane continue to go and get you to where you want to go, whether that be retire from your job, whether that be retiring a spouse, traveling more, supplementing your income, whatever that might be. It's going to allow to do it for you.
And I have one more thing that I almost forgot, guys. Sorry. We're saying one more thing, and that is homework. So the homework is to lay out right now your next 8-week schedule. We're not asking you to lay out the entire year. Lay out at the very least the next 8 weeks. What are we going to do this week? What counties are going to select? Right? What letter? How many letters are you going to get? What systems are you going to use? When are you going to do what? So that you don't just lose momentum. We're on a mission to create 10,000 millionaires. We want to leave a dent in the universe. We want to change the world one person at a time. And we have changed the world of over 1,000 people at $1 million level already. And we want to create 9,000 more. We want you to be one of them. With that said, guys, see you this afternoon, 4 p.m. Pacific. And then again tomorrow morning for one more session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.